And today we are doing a video about the person who always loved to bring a knife around, and this girl got arrested at the end, so just wait and see. A baby, she was always kind, but they didn't know that always at night she'd go and get the knife out. She always got told off for this, and she never knew why. She knew that she loved knives a lot, and she loved being a flight attendant. They'd always play with her, just as flight attendants, and she'd always smile at them. But one day they got security cameras, and when they woke up, they saw it. I'll show you the actual story first as a little kid. When she was a little baby, they would always play around with her, just as a flight attendant. And she'd always laugh because she always thought it was funny. They'd always do acting, and she'd always laugh because she thought it was so nice. But one night, when they went to sleep, when they fell asleep, she got up and she started walking to the kitchen. But they had security cameras then, and they caught her playing with the knives. That's why everything that they saw in the kitchen was cut up. The rice were down there, the pasta were all down there. But there was cat food everywhere. And that morning, she always thought she went to sleep. When they woke up, they found a mess. But when they looked at security cameras, they wasn't happy. When they saw the slices of cheese and egg were broke on the floor, some cheese slices were everywhere. And it looked weird from an angle, but when they looked on the security cameras, I told her this, they weren't happy. When they saw it, they were furious. Bread were even everywhere, and they didn't know how they reached the top cupboard. But when they saw the pan there and there, they were even madder. But this was only at night, because when they heard the tumbling, they knew they'd have to come. But when they were there, she was asleep, and they didn't know why everything were there, but they said they'd clean it up in the morning, but they forgot all about it. When they looked after going to the New Year's party, the babysitter were asleep, and food were everywhere. I'll show you this bit after. So this was what it was like. I told you that she walked in the kitchen and she made a mess. But when they heard the tumbling sound of the pan, they had to come. But then she went and she fell straight asleep. And when the dad woke up to go check on her, when he walked in the kitchen, he was terrified. So he said that he'd clean it up in the morning, but forgot all about it. And when it turned night, she was up again. But when they were morning, they saw her, and then She saw poop in the room when she woke up. When they had woken up, they had went to the kitchen and they were both terrified. They started to clean it all up. And she did all the mopping and she looked furious. She wasn't happy at all. She looked sad at this point. But she didn't wake up to the tumbling noise. That's why everything was cut up. She had used a knife. When he saw it on the floor, he put it up there terrified. They were questionless because they didn't know how everything got there. But the egg, he just went to eat it even though it wasn't full for like a night. When he was cleaning it up, he saw the rice and he just put it in his mouth like it weren't even a thing. He did it the same with that. When they had seen the baby though, she was just asleep. No, she was awake. But they got very mad, but they didn't know why. But when they walked away, they felt happy again, but they didn't know why the mess weren't full. They thought it were a cat and then they started getting mad. But she was just eating. But they didn't know why it was there. When she was eating, she heard him cleaning up, but she thought she could help. But when she went in there, she started crying because she was still cleaning up, but the husband got mad. She started crying a lot. But then she got mad back. And then he felt bad because he had to put her outside with a babysitter. Because the babysitter, she was very good with cats, but they told her what she had done, and it wasn't even true because she didn't do it. The baby did it. But they didn't like it at all. When they put the fireplace in, she just started putting them all over here because she didn't like the heat. She thought it was going to burn her, so she put them all out of the flame. When she saw the mini box, the husband put her gently to bed, and then when she was, I'm going to do her as a toddler. I'll say the story. When she was a toddler, she found the knife again, and she started to get happy. When she had seen it, she knew she had to go straight to it. When she went to it, she felt like she had to grab it, but she almost got hurt by doing it. When she looked at her leg, she started crying. Well, her face, it was cut. But she never knew she'd get very hurt. It hurt her a lot. And then when she started crying, the parents came rushing in. I'll show you it. Just wait. Let me get rid of baby version. When she when she was next to the knife, she was chilling. She was thinking of what she'd do to make herself not bored, and he were too. But when they heard the crying, they knew they had to go straight. When they heard it even louder, then they both came rushing in. And when they saw her, the knife was right behind her, and they saw the cut on her face. He had gotten her, and she started crying still, but they didn't know what to do. So they went straight to a doctor. Her big sister looked after her, but when she saw her with a cut, she got terrified. She started crying, but she said that she'd get her to the doctor straight away instead of the parents, because she didn't want them to feel bad. When they got there with her in the stroller, she felt bad by her sister because she had gotten that big cut on her face. When she got there, ran straight to the doctor. They saw her crying with a cut on her face, and they said that was bad for the baby. And then she called the doctor because she was in the bed. And she said that the baby was hurt a lot, and they needed her help immediately. She said that she'd be right back. When she was taken to the room, the baby was crying, and when they'd put the phone down, she'd putting the phone down, and then she was scared that her sister wouldn't be better. But she kept the pram anyway, but she felt scared for her sister. When she was done, she was in a wheelchair. Then her sister got scared. Then Lizzie's best friend, that was an adult, came to bring the stroller into her room. When Alyssa and her had made it home, she felt a bit better, but she was still crying a little because it hurt a lot. But it started to get better after a minute, but when she started crying even more after a minute. She said that she'd have to go to parents if she cried any worse than that. But Alyssa was there and she was helpful. She was making sure that she didn't cry even worse, or else she'd have to go to her. But they said not to come out for 15 minutes. If it goes even worse, she'd have to call the doctors, and it got even worse. So she called them and she got scared, very scared. I'm only making a doctor, guys. When she had called the doctor, she was scared, and the doctor was running because it was very bad if she cried any more than that. They burst through the door and they came running straight to her room, but she got shocked when they saw the baby girl. She was crying into bits. because it hurted more than the world. She knew she'd have to help, but she didn't know what method because she was new. But they still sent her out. She wears her mask and then she put on her gloves, but she didn't know why. So when she was ready, she got ready to make sure she was better, but it made it a bit better, but it didn't help that much. When she came, she was still freaked out. She was a good one, but she weren't new. She was a professional, and that's how she learned how to dance, doing it. It got a little bit better, but she was still crying. The sister was still freaked out, and she was saying, "Was she okay?" and other stuff like that. She was saying, "Is she okay? Is she gonna get better soon?" And she even bought her a teddy because she didn't want her to feel bad. But she was still crying because there was one more minute left, and then she sent an announcement through the speaker through the house. She had called her. She had seen that it was one more minute, but she was still crying. When it was over, she was actually happy. When the doctor had left, she felt a bit better. The dad had unfortunately moved out on her birthday, and he didn't come back after that. Then they were scared and they tried calling him, but he answered, and then she started screaming through the phone, "Where are you? Why didn't you call back all them times that I called you?" But they had to live by themselves now. She felt sad because all she had were her little sister, and all she had were her big sister. She didn't feel much about that. When she had her little sister, they called her dad and they said that they wanted to move out, but they didn't. But they only moved into their room, and they tried to get everything that they could into their room, but all they got was a few things in there. It looked like a lot to them, but it was only a few. It was a lot of things, but it looked like a few to them that I meant. When Bethany was now their grandma, and she didn't know what's that, guys? Alyssa had turned into their grandma, and when she came to visit, they said that their grandma and their mom and dad moved out, and they almost passed away in the car crash on the way to the airport. And they said that they never saw them after that, and she wanted them to stay. And then they took the picture. She said she wanted to go out for a walk with him, but after the picture, when they had gotten the picture, they had gotten the perfect one. They had only had them one pictures of their mum and dad before they had to move out. It was in their room, and this is a flashback of when they took the picture. They only had them by themselves because it was before they had to move out. They felt a lot very sad about it though. She always cried because she missed her grandma after she passed away, but she had her little sister. Wait, the grand definitely didn't pass away, but they always remembered their mom and dad. They'd always cry about it because they thought they'd never see them again. But when they got a call saying that they was going to have a visit from the country that they were in, they got very happy. When they heard the dad, they said that your mom had made herself hired as a cleaner, and they stayed for a bit. They said that they wanted to listen to their music, and it turned out good. They had gotten the beat and everything to perform the song, and they said they'd always come around for visits, and they hoped they could, but they only could. That flight. They said they'd always remembered them, and they always wanted them to come back for the song. They'd always had that wheelchair in case any of them got hurt. They had them 2 pictures of her grandma because she was passing away in 2 days, but they thought they'd never see her again. When they took their last picture with their mum and dad before the flight, it turned out amazing, but they had to get the selfie first. So they dropped their instruments. The picture was brilliant. Before they moved past it, they moved again. They had that picture. They'd always remember their grandma and their mom and dad. But after that, they didn't see them for a while. Sorry, guys. But they never saw them that much after that. They unfortunately had to go after that picture, but they'd never forget them after. When it was night, they had to. She sleeps on her comfy beanbag because she liked it. Then she was going to sleep. And when it had turned night, they were asleep. When it had turned morning, they were awake because they'd woken up to look at the pictures and they'd swap after. She was crying in tears after she saw the picture of her dad before they went away. And she started to cry in tears when she saw her mom. They thought they'd never see them again. And when they saw the auntie, she said she only had one day left on Earth, so they decided to let her stay. But she was in a wheelchair and they felt bad. They said, one picture before I pass away, one more picture, and they started to feel sad. They was crying in the picture, but because it said the day before I pass away, and it said that they'd miss her, because they were gonna miss her, because she'd been alive for a long time, and it was family. They had them last pictures, and after she unfortunately passed away, all they had were her wheelchair to remember her and the pictures. They'd always miss her. But one day she had called her mom, and she called her and she said to her mom that grandma had passed away, and she felt very sad. She said that she was so sorry that she didn't call you before she passed away. And then they put her on speaker and they were both crying sorry, because they never thought this would happen in their whole life. A few minutes later, they forgot about it until they looked at the picture again. And when they saw them crying, they started crying again, because they never thought she'd leave them. But when they saw the old picture, it looked very nice. It had 1, 2, and 3 on it. It said 1, 2, 3, and then it had, but then her grandma was missing. But then they felt sad, so they decided to take a picture with each other. It said 1, 2, but then they had a picture taken without each other, like one at a time. My dad they'd always remember the pictures. They had 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and then they'd always, she'd never forget them in their whole life. They knew they won't see their mom that much because she were a pilot, and she used to be a pilot. But she asked them if they could visit, but she called them and they didn't answer. And then she texted them, and then she actually got a call. She called them again. She said, "Can you visit?" And she said, "Please," and they said yes. they had arrived, they were very happy, and they said that they were passing away soon, and they started waving, but then they fortunately passed away. There was only her mom left, and then she passed away. They had no one left in their life except each other. They wished they'd never leave each other. And this is for this was their first day of school this day, and they felt sad. They started reading books about how to not cry in your life when someone's passed away, but it just made them cry even more. So they decided to pack them books even though, and they packed some learning books. She was carrying the books. She was carrying the pencils. And the scissors, and she was carrying the book about how to learn how to train cats, because they had to learn how to train them, because it was only her and them two. She had gotten. They didn't know what to do in their life. They hadn't been to school before, so they decided to go. When they had went, they were very shy. She said, "Do you want to sit next to each other?" And they said, "Yes, because we're sisters." But they felt a bit nervous. They put their hand up because they wanted to tell everyone about the life. So she told them about their mum and dad passing away, the little one, and the big one told them about their grandma passing away. And she said, "Yes, both of you. I hope you have something wonderful to tell us." And they started sniffling because they said it was quite sad. And then she said that their mum and dad went and they couldn't see him anymore because they had passed away. And then everyone started crying because it was very sad. Everyone was crying, but they started crying even more when they heard that their grandmother passed away, and then they started crying. Even the teachers started to cry and say that she was sorry. They was only crying in their seats because they was very sad about it, and they said they'd cancel all the lesson. And then when they were still at school, they cancelled the whole lesson, and she just clicked it, so the school lesson was over. They were still sniffling because they felt bad about what happened then. Sorry guys, but they still felt bad about it in their life. they went out, and then the principal told them off, but then they said they cancelled the lesson because they had told them something sad. And then they went straight to lunch, and they was also sniffling because they felt very sad about themselves. When they were at lunch, the teacher said they had to pay for that, but when they told them the story, she said that they could have it for free. Not only school dinners cost it, and they were having a school dinner. It was very sad, and they felt even sadder because they almost forgot about them. They said that they never have ever forgotten put them in their life. But one of them, the little one, tripped over and she started bleeding a little. The teacher said, Are you okay? Should I call a doctor? And she said yes, crying because it hurted a lot. So when the doctor had come, the doctor came and she said she was happy to clean it up. And when she had cleaned it up, she said, have a nice day. But there was some very clumsy. They was both bleeding a little, and it started to get worse, and it started to spread around the school. The teacher gave them a plaster and started to clean it up. Normally they'd get the janitor, but they didn't. But the next day when they came, they got the food for free again. But this time one of them didn't like tomato sauce, and when they had it, they vomited a little. And the teacher said, are you okay? Do you need to go to the toilet? And she said, yes, it's coming more. And when she got to it, she was rushing to the toilet. But she didn't want to stop, because when she stopped, she was going to puke. So when she went to the toilet, but she had one toilet to go in, and the janitor said, are you okay? And she had just threw up, so of course she weren't okay. Oh, everyone in the school were her friend, but they all got scared and they was rushing up to her. Have a good day. Bye.